What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the SPY, the NASDAQ, the QQQs, and the futures, break down what the charts are telling us and what you should be watching for in the future, and why on earth the market might actually see a bit of a pullback very, very soon based off what we're seeing right here. And before I break anything down about this, before I get into any more details, I do have to mention a couple of things before starting. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner. Make sure you take none of this as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire community as a whole. And the last things, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, you're guaranteed up to 12 free stocks, each valued at up to $3,000. And the best part is any could be a free Tesla share, a free NEO share, or a mix of all of them. It's a limited time offer. The offer ends today, so make sure you check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So overall, guys, the market did have a bit of a pullback for today. I did make a previous video where I mentioned the market would likely come down, get a nice bounce, and maybe pull back just a little bit, but get a somewhat green close. That's what I was trying to see. I wanted to see SPY close around this like 397 area. I did mention to you guys we would get a bounce, so that was correct. We did pull back a bit, then we got a bit of a bounce, and the market did actually hold in the very beginning for the first couple of hours. Then it wasn't until like the very end, because what was very interesting was we were actually holding up very well above like 398 going to 399 until the very last hour or a couple of minutes more than that. Then at the very end we started pulling back. That's why this last candle turned kind of red. Then at the very end of the day the market just started tanking, and then the market closed once again down 0.37%. So I was pretty close on the prediction. We just pulled back a little bit more at the very end, and overall I am seeing a bearish continuation likely happening for tomorrow. We might see a small bounce in the morning followed by more selling, and we might see SPY slowly approach a retest of this previous trend line, which is the wedge we were in before we got this small breakout. And I do want to break down why on earth that is and what's going on with the technicals. Now, I also want to mention that on the 5-minute time frame, we did see lots of fake outs. So the market is very tricky to trade sometimes. So we got this fake out right here, this nice pump, then we came all the way back down. Another fake out pump. This was more of like a bull trap before we saw the market continue to drop. So once again, lots of things like that happen. Please be very, very prepared for them. But I do want to note that right here on the 5-minute time frame, we did have, there's like a bigger inverse head and shoulders. You can see there was also like a smaller one that was developing. And I think this got a lot of investors kind of excited because we did have this potential inverse head and shoulders. Let me actually make this look a little clearer, a little easier to see. So there we are. So right here, you could see we had like the head, we were developing the left shoulder, then the right shoulder was supposed to develop. We were supposed to like bounce around here and then start pushing. Instead, it failed. So this was a trap likely set by the market makers to trick lots of retail investors, and we saw the market continue to tank. So I am seeing, once again, tomorrow, we could try to get a small bounce in the morning, but we're likely going to see more downside. I'm going to be watching 395 on SPY. If that fails, then there's 393. And if we bounce, we're going to watch this trend line very carefully. We might try to bounce a little bit, but overall, I'm seeing a bit of a red close tomorrow. So please be very, very careful. Now, for the triple Q, is painting a very similar story. I think this is going to be even more bearish. We have this gap way down here around this low 290 area. It's likely going to get dragged down because of Tesla and other stocks out there. Tesla is actually looking more on the bearish side, in my opinion. Why? Tesla does have a big event, but there is likely going to be lots of profits taking, maybe lots of like repositioning of assets by hedge funds and etc. We're likely going to see some hedging too, and we're actually seeing a potential head and shoulders like formation on Tesla. This is like a left shoulder. This was like the head right here, and this could be the right shoulder. And it's likely going to come down, fill the gap all the way down to like the mid 190, 195 area. Somewhere around there, it's going to likely pull back, maybe try to bounce off that, and maybe get a somewhat red close at the end of the day. Another stock to watch for tomorrow is NEO. NEO does have the potential to see a bit of a bounce because of the fact that NEO has been basing where it's at. We have a really, really nice setup right here where it's basing around this 9 to 9.12 area. It might bounce and try to fill this gap tomorrow. There's a chance it could do that because we have earnings tomorrow before the market opens. So NEO has its earnings. I don't know if it's going to close green, but it should make a nice move to the upside, hopefully, if earnings go as planned. It also depends on guidance, so watch that carefully. We also have Wendy's, Lowe's, Dollar Tree reporting earnings before the market opens. Then after the market closes, we have a bunch of other ones. Then for Thursday, we have more retailers. We have like Best Buy and Costco and Macy's. So please be ready for that. And on top of that, I just want to note that the VIX is likely going to see a bit of a pullback, maybe a slight pullback because the market might bounce in the very beginning, a small bounce. But I do think the VIX might try to bounce off this like 20 area. It might come down a little and bounce, or it might just bounce from open and start slowly heading towards like the 21 plus zone. I'm saying that because of how we ended up closing, how the VIX got a nice bounce off 20, and how the VIX might continue pushing. Once again, this is often because of the fact that the S&P 500 might start to drop going into tomorrow, which may push the VIX up as we are seeing some signs of that in this overall structure. Now, I also want to note that I believe that on the 5 minute, I don't know if this is too small of a time frame, but we could look at the 5 minutes. I was seeing a bullish divergence. I don't know if I'm seeing it. Oh no, it was actually right here. This is very interesting. This is a textbook example of a bullish divergence on the VIX. We made a lower low, the RSI made a higher low, and we actually saw a breakout to the upside. So I'm not really seeing too many like bullish or bearish divergences as of right now. I'm not even seeing it on the daily just yet on the VIX. Maybe this could change later on. But as of right now, I do believe the VIX has more upside to come in the future, which will be bearish for the overall market. And this is a reaction of more bearish price action, right? On Microsoft, for example, I'm seeing the same thing. I'm seeing Microsoft potentially coming down. It already filled its gap. It's going to likely push down a little bit more. I'm going to be watching this 245 area. There's 247 to 245. It's a 0.5 retracement. Make sure you watch that very carefully, and it might try to bounce after that. I'm just using the fib retracement for that one. For Apple, ticker symbol AAPL, I'm noticing that this thing is likely going to push down as well to finish filling its gap, come all the way down to where support is around this 144.7 zone. And it's likely going to see a little bit more downside tomorrow, which may drag the markets down, but it might bounce a little bit earlier. So there is a chance it might try to outperform the markets, but I am seeing somewhat of a bit of a pullback. Now, on the dollar index, nice breakout, still looks more bullish. It actually bounced off this 104 zone. So very interesting to see it bounce like that. Once again, if it keeps holding, if it keeps going, if it keeps showing strength, that's going to be bearish for the stock market. The last thing I'm going to talk about before ending this video is going to be the 10-year treasury yield. This thing is pretty flat, didn't really do too much, but you could see it wants to break above 39 and wants to get all the way up to 40, start filling those gaps. We do have some strong resistance around the 39. And that's part of why the market's also chopping around. This is also chopping a bit. If it gets a breakout to the upside, like I said, if we break 39, we're likely going to push all the way up to 41. And if that happens, it tells us that the bonds market is pricing in a lot more of a hawkish Fed. They're tightening a lot more. And that's going to be bearish for the stock market. So I wanted to just put this all out there. That's basically what I have for this video. I want to make it as blunt and short as possible. Thank you. The market to the moon because the long-term future is still incredibly bright. And peace out.